Welcome back. This is Styrian from Styrian Gaming. Today we're running the Burning Crusade raid Karazhan. Now Karazhan was a pretty long raid back then. Mounts, nice gear, even a chest event. We're going to actually start here by going into this area. In order to summon up this boss, you have to defeat a certain number of mobs down here. And there's 3 different types of mobs that can spawn for bosses. You have a hound, a bat, or a spider. Each in their respective area. We're gonna kill everything we can until the boss decides to do it. And then we'll take a back route in. Also, back then there was a limited time quest in a certain part of Karazhan that you would get your hands on a special transmog and a pet. Well, a battle pet, not a hunter pet. Bloody. Forgot that I could skin these guys. You're gonna have to forgive me for the next minute. It'll take me to skin these. But I've learned that mats from here actually sell a little bit better than classic, so we're gonna gather what we can. Stock my supplies and then sell the excess. Now, we just gotta take out most of these dogs here, and then we should get a boss to spawn. And the boss that spawned would be the Hound boss. I know it's a little annoying to watch me skin all these, but you understand. Get mats, place the mats where you can get them, right? This boss has very much a random loot table. It's just basically, I guess you'd call them generic epics. They're not really a set piece or anything, but they were pretty good back then. And surprisingly, I actually tanked this back then in Burning Crusade on this character right here. It was pretty fun, especially when it got hectic. Now, there was actually a back route in this area. Up this hallway would actually take you through a little bit of, I guess you could call it a shortcut to another boss. There's a lot of twists and turns in this place, so it's pretty interesting. I would say each boss fight brought its own unique fight to it. But we're gonna go actually after this boss now, a maiden. She was basically an oversized paladin, more or less, with her abilities. Now you saw these ads I got here by accident. Watch what happens. Well, I guess you're not gonna see. Because I one-shot them. They actually are creatures in disguise. They will, when they hit 50%, they turn into the creature.
Their behavior will not be tolerated, to be clear.
Now, we're not going to go right to the next event. We're actually going to backtrack now. Take out 2 other bosses while we're at it. Look for us. One boss is nearby. All we gotta do is jump right down. And we can take him on. Like the other raids in Burning Crusade, a lot of ads. And things can turn into a real mess if you weren't careful. Now this guy is basically a rogue, more or less. He will disappear and garrote you, and you bleed basically for the whole fight until either you die or he dies. And the garrote actually stacked. So we're just gonna take
Unannounced visitors, preparations must be made.
Now with Monroe's down, you could actually open up a door. But we're not going to do that right now. Now when I told you there was a limited time boss in here, this is where he was. It was one of the vampiric elves that you would see in ICC or Northrend. He dropped the axe that one of the guitarists from turns ETC, I guess is the best way. They actually wielded, and actually turns you into one of the rockers. He also dropped a small battle pet as well. Now, for this one down here, Midnight, this is where you would get the mount Midnight from the Huntsman.
Come, Midnight! Let's disperse this petty rabble. Always knew someday I would become the hunted.
Now, because I actually burned him down, like, instantly, none of these ads came after me. Normally, if you pulled him and there was any of these ads up other than the ones in here, the blacksmith, they all come rushing after you. So you would literally have to clear the whole stable, and you have to clear it before they respawn, because they actually had a respawn timer back then on those ads. So I think it was roughly 25 to 30 minutes that you would have to burn through them, and those ads weren't nothing to laugh at, because those horses could stack a pretty nasty debuff on you if you weren't careful. The reason I went this way is because that ballet is a real test. Like I said, one misstep in here and, well, you would have mobs up. They'd just be all over you, man. It was, Now we're heading off to one of the special events known as the Opera event. And there's actually 3 different types of operas you can get, each with their own unique fights. We'll see which one we get this round. Just easy to avoid. To actually initiate the opera event, you need to talk to the stage manager here.
Ladies and gentlemen, to this evening's presentation. Tonight, we plumb the depths of the human soul as we join a lost, lonely girl trying desperately, with the help of her loyal companions, to find her way home. But she is pursued by a wicked, malevolent crone. Will she survive? Will she prevail? Only time will tell. And now, on with the show!
So we got this specific opera again. Well, this, if I remember right, will be 4-on-1 now. Yep.
Oh, Tito, we simply must find a way home. The old wizard could be our only hope. Strawman, Roar, Tinhead, will you? Wait. Oh, golly, look. We have visitors.
I need to target someone.
Come on, a fish with no paw behind my back.
Now what should I do with you?
Let him make a
I
mattress
simply can't
out of
make up
me.
my mind.
Come on, Pinhead, you know you-
I could really use a
Back
heart.
to being
Say,
old
can I have
Rust.
yours?
Woe to each and every one of you, my pretties! What a cruel, cruel world!
Now that fight was more difficult. As you saw, Tinhead here, you kite him because over time he slows down due to rust. The straw man, you would need anybody who has fire spells to start lighting him up. The roar guy, tank and spank. You would need to interrupt the caster girl. And the crone was just a burst burn down. And you just had to avoid the tornadoes which launched you up in the air. More or less, that was how the fight went. Thing is, those ads had timers, so you could actually get swamped by them if you weren't fast enough. But my guild always, back then, the guild I was in, we burned through this pretty fast. I think the only one they ever had trouble with, which one that would be? Was the one we just did? Ah, the Shakespearean one. As you see, as we get through here, once you get here, you have the ability to actually unlock additional entrances into here. Like right here. Back then, this portal on the outside used to only connect to this grade itself. And now, the current area we're in now, with expansions and everything, it actually got turned into a dungeon. So, to actually get to the rated car, you have to go through the front gate, and to get into the mythic dungeon version of the car, which is a completely different instance, you have to go through the side door. Now, here's actually another boss, but because I never did the quest chain on this guy, or maybe I have, who knows? This urn here should summon him up. There he is. There was a quest chain in order to be able to do all this, to summon this optional boss. Which, if when you ended the quest chain and got to this part, you would actually see how Nightbane came to be. I still remember how it went, but I don't want to ruin it for anyone. Half the fun's in learning about it and experiencing it. Now this fight's pretty much a phase fight. As you can see, he actually had phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, phase 2, and then final phase. Now he's in phase 2 right now as we speak. Which he goes there, and he starts shooting down spikes and adds on it. Which he needs to burn down AoE and all that stuff. I believe the percentages were 66 and 33, and then my one hit took him all the way to probably 0 almost. He's already doing all the phases. He did drop some nice gear for, I would say, really only gear I curious for this guy is he dropped from my elemental shop. Nice shield. Now that we've gone through the phase of second phases, which you can see I've left enough corpses here. Oh, he's gone. But yeah, that was the hidden optional boss. They like doing that back in Burning Crusade, having little hidden areas and secrets and bosses. Also, this door right here could actually be unlocked once you got to the other side.
It's locked.
And see it brings you back out to the Grand Hall. And we actually head up to the next boss. It was basically easy to get through here, just the mobs are a little tougher than normal. You only had to fight one mob at a time, honestly, which made it easier just to burn. The only downside, like all the BC raid, almost all the Burning Crusade raids, is travel. It's long route. Now we're coming up to a boss known as the Curator. This boss was pretty much a straightforward tank and spank.
The menagerie curator is no longer operational.
For that boss, more or less, tank and spank. But he actually summoned up additional adds, which is basically sparks. You had to burn them down fast because you could be overrun. And he would use, I believe, 10% of his mana to summon up a spark. And once you burn down enough of them, he ran out of mana. Then you actually ended up having him do an evocation to recover his mana, which he would, at that time, take a massive amount of damage. Now, back here there was actually books that dropped here. One for DPS spec, one for tanking spec, and one for healing. I don't know if we'll find any here. I think when you're at a high level we can actually avoid most of this stuff. But yeah, books were pretty nice to have. The only downside is if you got killed, you lose the book. You lost the book. And that, because I was mostly DPS at the time, I actually wielded the Tome of the Worgen, which turns you into one for a temporary time, increasing your damage. But I think they reworked it to be something else nowadays. I'm wondering if they might have actually got rid of them. Well, there was one definite spot that you could actually get books. The only downside is you would have to fall down and then fall down to your doom, unless you had something like slow fall. Man, they might be long. That's rare. have one of the books here. But we also have a hidden boss room. Like I said, this is Karazhan. It had a lot of twists and turns, hidden areas, shortcuts, fun events. Now this guy kind of did suck.
My life. You're
is
just
yours.
in time.
Oh, great one.
The rituals are about to begin.
Now for this guy, as you see this green circle here, that was one of his abilities which he basically sacrificed someone in. It was a DPS race then. You had to get them freed. It's pretty nasty. There's actually a vendor further up that we're probably going to go visit to get rid of some stuff. Now, there was a lot of hidden optional bosses and such. This here is technically optional, but as I said earlier, there was books hidden. You would literally drop down here because you pretty much pick all these books up, and not every book actually had a buff in it. Sometimes you get hit with a debuff. Now there's a little unknown factoid about this guy. Back then in Classic, if you actually got the Staff of Medivh, which was a legendary out of old school Naxxramas, and had it equipped when you fought him, you would get some hidden dialogue out of him.
Please! No more! The nightmare! My son! He's gone mad!
Like I said, it's just a long, long trip. Running around, and the bonus is when you get up to the upper levels, the mobs start to be more manageable because you don't have to worry about groups of them coming at you. But they are stronger, so you have to be careful. Like I said, there was a lot of optional bosses that you could skip in here, which was kind of sad. But there were bosses that you actually have to defeat in order to progress, which would have been Monrose, the Opera event, Curator, the Chest event, and then the final boss. All the other bosses were technically optional, like this one right here, Nether Drake. Now, that boss wasn't as easy as I made it look. He was a bit of a pain back then. My guild back then would at least attempt these optional bosses 2 to 3 times, and if we couldn't get them, we said screw it. Now we're actually coming up to the vendor here, which helps because there was a lot of my bags get filled up pretty quick just running these old raids, so we're actually going to visit them. And this is actually tied to a rep group, the Consortium. And we're going to open this up. They actually sold recipes, metagens that were used in helmets back then. But nowadays, people don't really remember this stuff. We're just gonna clear that out. And I probably shouldn't have hit my UI because I actually needed access to that part. As you see, this is the chest event. attack.
Can I help you?
Now,
See
you
you later.
can only play your faction's side, because I'm Horde. I control Black Hand. Now, you can solo this, just got to be smart about it. Because you get a debuff that you can't take over. So let's see if I actually can pull this off on my first shot.
Zug Zug.
You gotta be able to have Black Hand and the Mage, my Warlock here, be able to move freely. Because Medivh cheats. That shade there likes to cheat.
Loktar.
As long as you get some of your powerful units out of the way, you should be good. Next.
Sounds fine. Blood and thunder.
This is just like basic chess. You know how to play chess? This is pretty much an easy game.
Zug Dabu. Double. Sounds fine.
Interesting.
You took one down.
No matter.
First and second blood. He's about to cheat, so.
I'm out of range.
Sounds fine. Certainly. Stronghold. Go.
The transparent wheels have begun to turn. One must not become too complacent.
Like I said, he cheats.
Interesting.
He cheats. I gotta get my war chief out of here because he starts taking damage over time. We don't want that.
No matter.
You
Break
basically
their
win
bones.
the event by killing the enemy's king.
No matter. Yes. All according to plan.
Now, the kings actually have a cleave ability, which actually strikes multiple hits.
Sounds fine.
I'm about to lose my wolves, but it's okay. As long as I can get my daemon up. After I move this guy, the plan is to take over the Warlock and just start lighting people up.
Certainly.
I'm actually going to take control of the Wolf, so we can actually take out their healer. Because that Cleric actually can heal the King, which kind of blows.
Foolish. Very foolish.
King Lane's been making
Yes, of course. Yes. All according to plan.
What can I help you with?
Now, the Warlock here is considered a cheat. So I can burn him down before they burn down my king. And as you can see...
Perhaps a change is in order.
Oh,
A transparent stratagem.
that was a cheat move if I ever seen one.
Sounds fine.
But luckily, we should be able to take him out now that he's showed
Necessary
up in my area.
sacrifice.
So I believe he's out of the range of the healers. Which is cool, because see,
Nothing less than perfection will do.
there we go. And that's just the event. And as you see, I took 10 of their pieces, and they took 5 of mine. Let's see what we've got. Nothing good. There's actually a nice sword that actually drops out of this event. I think it was called the King's Defender. It was a very nice blade. But yeah. Now we're actually going to take a detour instead of going up the stairway on the left. On the right there, I mean.
The wheels have begun to turn.
Is he still playing chess? Eh, whatever. Yeah, these flesh beasts were a pain to deal with. But yeah, we're actually going to go through Medivh's room.
It's too far away.
And this here is his bedroom, which I think anyone would love to have a bed like this. Ramp to walk up it, just jump right in. This would be a bed I would love to have of my own. If I ever hit it rich, that's my plan. To get a bed like that. I might even get a house, have some of the halls.
Let us see.
Like this. Yeah, I guess the chessman's still buggy because he doesn't know that he lost. And we're coming up to the final boss. Now, this guy was a massive pain, but he dropped, I believe, tier gear and some decent weaponry, so let's just one-shot him.
Madness is what you fear to me. I am a prince of the Eridor. Undoing am.
As you can see, this is more of a gateway than a tower. This has been Asterion Gaming, and I'm asking you to please like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video.